In this skill lesson, we will look at language, style, and audience. Our learning objective is to be able to explain how the author's use of language, including the cumulative impact of word choices, in speech to the Second Virginia Convention, affects the meaning and the tone of the speech. But let's begin with a question. What is an example of a statement that you have seen or heard that inspired you or made you think? What made it memorable to you? Here are a few that come to mind for me. One of my favorite current poets is Amanda Gorman. She was the youngest National Youth Poet Laureate in the history of our nation. Many things that she has written have become memorable, but one statement has really stood out to me. There is light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. I love how she personifies light and makes it a call to action. I interpret her metaphor of light to mean hope. Another statement that has stuck with me for a long time is by 19th century philosopher Henry David Thoreau, who made a choice to walk away from city life and live a humble life in a cabin out by a pond. Talking about his motivation, he wrote, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation." I take this to mean that many of us, both men and women, are secretly unhappy. He was willing to do something about it, even if it meant taking a break from society and going into the woods to truly find himself. Another statement that stands out to me is from playwright Oscar Wilde, who wrote, "Life is too important to be taken seriously." Oscar Wilde had a way with language and was a master of irony. This line not only makes me chuckle a little, but also makes me think. Maybe sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. Life goes by so fast. We need to enjoy it while we can. This reminds me of another poetic verse, Carpe diem, which is Latin for seize the day. Make the most of each day of your life. Whether it's a poet, a philosopher, or a playwright, all of these examples show a strong command of words to create meaning. The thoughtful and deliberate use of words to achieve a purpose is called style. Meaning is what we, the readers, get out of the text when we look for deeper messages or life lessons. Finally, tone is the writer's attitude, their thoughts and feelings about their subject. In the case of Amanda Gorman, her tone was positive and hopeful. With Henry David Thoreau, I would call his tone somber and reflective. And with Oscar Wilde, I would call his tone witty and poignant. Authors' use of style, meaning, and tone, like artists use paintbrushes and canvas to create images and ideas that last for generations. Imagine writing something so meaningful that people 200 years later are still quoting it. That's exactly what Patrick Henry did when he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." And that brings us to our tasks for this skill lesson. First, if you haven't already, watch the concept definition video and read the introduction on tab 1. This will help you better understand the concept of this skill. Next, complete the vocabulary drag and drop activity on tab 2 to familiarize yourself with the terms used with this skill. Next, carefully read the model page. The top half contains instructions and a checklist for applying this skill. The bottom half contains a student example. Pay close attention to how the student annotates the text and the comments that she makes. How does she analyze Patrick Henry's use of language to understand his purpose? How does she explain Patrick Henry's choice of words and sentences? Finally, when you're ready, complete the Your Turn activity on tab 4 and check your results for understanding. Being able to analyze an author's use of language, meaning, and tone are important critical skills, but they can be tricky to master. If you feel lost or stuck, don't hesitate to talk to me so I can help you through this before you move on.